Welcome back, man. There's a million ways to get it, man. Today we're talking to my guy, Johnny Berry, wrongfully convicted and exonerated gentleman, man. This gentleman did 23 years for a crime he did not commit, and today we're gonna sit down with him and we're gonna go through his journey from hell and bringing it back and having the life that he has in his body and actually being able to be in sound mind and sound body, coming home from a situation that could break you and put you in a bad space and not be able to come back. And I need everybody to take their time out and to check this out, because this is major, man. There's many ways to get it. Stay tuned.
My name is Johnny Berry, and I was falsely accused and convicted for a crime I had absolutely nothing to do with. And in 2019, I believe, last year, I was exonerated, cleared of all charges, never done anything wrong. And for me, life before my incarceration was kind of typical in Philadelphia. Mm-hmm. You know, I grew up in West Philadelphia. My mother was a stay-at-home mom. My father worked, took care of 5 children. But in either direction from the neighborhood in which I live, you know, you had crime rampant everywhere. Drug sales was high then. You know, crack cocaine was kind of on a rise at that particular time. And that was kind of part of my social upbringing and the culture in which I was raised in. Right. But still in all, my family, my mother, my father, my siblings, we made sure that we loved each other, you know? I had good friends then, you know, even though most of us were poor. You know, we all knew how to love, respect, and cherish one another and still live productive lives while trying to navigate our lives in abnormal conditions, under abnormal circumstances. Okay.
Yeah, man. So, you know, that's life prior to your conviction and, you know, ultimate exoneration. So kind of walk us through how you remain yourself through the process of going through hell. Like, that place is hell. Like, there's no other way to really explain that for what you have to do as a human being to survive the conditions in which you're in a situation that you didn't put yourself in. Mm-hmm. So, like, most people are going through the things of, like, I could have did this right, I could have did this wrong, I could have did this right. But how do you go through that when you didn't do anything wrong? Mm-hmm. How do you keep that sanity? So can you walk us through that?
Yeah, first and foremost, for me, I lived under the umbrella of I was actually innocent. I knew I was innocent. And I always wanted to be different. So part of me trying to be different and standing outside and trying to live outside of the box, and the box being how people perceive prisoners in jail and how maybe most prisoners are in jail. Mm-hmm. You know, I always kept a smile on my face, to the extent that a lot of my peers are like, man, what you smiling for, man? Why are you smiling? I'm smiling because it's how I feel, man. Yeah. You know, even under these ugly set of circumstances, I didn't accept it. I never accepted it, but I came to terms with the reality of where I was at, and I wasn't going to allow it to break me, number one. You know, couple that with the fact that I always try to identify and practice my religion, which is Islam. And I always try to keep a faith in God. Study that kind of kept me, you know, that was at the forefront of my sanity and trying to survive in that place. And then I looked at the fact that a lot of people had, like my family members and friends and people who believed in me, they were counting on me, man, to make it through, you know? Yeah. My mother, you know, she passed away while I was in that place. She didn't get an opportunity to see me walk through the doors and have my name cleared. But I was trying to stay strong for her, for my wife and people like that. It's funny because sometimes when I would get on the phone, I would have to kind of mask how I was truly feeling. Yeah. So my family don't take on the pains that I felt, man. You know, that was a horrible place. Jail is not a pretty place. But, you know, we are people that adapt, we survive, and we learn how to make it through, you know? And that's what I did.
To sit down and speak with you and have you kind of speak life into these young gentlemen to let them know. So like kind of what kind of advice would you give to these young fellas right now in the street that think, all right, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and I take my time and I do it on my head, I take it on the chin. What kind of advice you gonna give to those young brothers, you know, in that situation?
It's funny because the other day I was talking to a good friend of mine, and he and I had what some people would say we came through, or we come through the, or we went through the trenches together. You know, back in the day prior to me going to jail, and I'll talk maybe a little bit about that. He said something to me that I will never forget. It was short in words, but to me profound in meaning. We were looking at some silly stuff that people were doing on the internet. Same people that demographic people that we're speaking about, young people. You know, we get these ambitions to go out and indulge and entertain a life of crime, man. You know, basically buying into the mindset of there is more monies in the criminal lifestyle than there actually is in goods and services flowing through our communities. So he said something to me. He was like, man, you know what? He said, for anybody or these individuals who have these type of ambitions, he said, they should do 5 years in jail first. Do 5 years in jail first. And then, you know, after that, come up with whether you want to be in the streets or not. You know. So realistically, that can't happen. That's not going to happen. But I get his point.
Right.
You know, I salute the rappers in terms of the business aspect and trying to make some money. We salute them. You know, take our hats off to them. And we are creative people.
Right.
You know, so that's part of our creativity.
Yeah.
But the reality of it is that for most rappers, for most entertainers, it's an illusion, man. You won't find that these individuals are actually engulfed in the criminal lifestyle because they wouldn't be doing what they're doing. And if they were, they stopped at some point, for the most part.
Yeah.
Because they can't continue to do what they're doing and do that at the same time. It's just not going to work. The reality of it is, I would say to a young man, who or what you stand to lose? What you stand in to gamble? I lost my brother to the streets. He was murdered, riddled with bullets. My mom had to go pick him up out the grass. Riddled with bullets. 15 years old. Broke my mother's heart. I believe she died from a broken heart, if that's a thing, and I actually do believe that.
Oh, that's for sure a thing.
So I would ask them, what do you stand to lose? Like, who are you willing to give up? Who are you willing to lose yourself? Because at a time, really in the streets, that's what happens. You know, you begin to lose yourself. If you're good, if they look at you a certain way now with a little bit of as far as a moral compass go, if they look at you as a decent individual, a respectful person, you'll lose that in the streets. You will lose yourself first. Are you prepared to do that? You know, we look at the glitz and we look at the glamour. That's only one aspect. And realistically, the reality, most people don't see that in the streets. So this is the talk that I would have with people who have these silly ambitions. You ain't gonna see that. For the most part, most people don't see the glitz and the glamour. You ain't gonna make it, man. Why? Because statistics are gonna say and show that you are gonna lose, man. You know, I say that because I used to be a part of that at one time. Prior to going to jail for something I didn't do, I used to sell the drugs. I did that. I saw several of my homies gone, murdered. They're not here no more. I got several pictures with guys, man, that I can count in the picture. At least 5 dead. One being my brother. You know? So who and what do you stand to lose? Who you ready to give up? What are you really ready to risk? And the reality of it is, really, most of us, when we have those ambitions and we get into the streets, you're just getting in the way, man. And you're throwing rocks at the penitentiary. So now, you know, headed to the penitentiary is not a beautiful place, it's not a good place to be. And most times dudes can't stand it. They get on that stand and they start talking. Now you done told on now not only was it not for you, but you did something even more unprincipled. You gotta understand, and now you done told on your comrades. Now I'm not saying I don't live the lifestyle no more, so I'm not giving an opinion either way. But I'm saying the reality of it, this is what you do. So stay out of it, man. Get you a 9 to 5, man. And if you don't want to get you a 9 to 5, if you got a good idea, if you came up, you believe with maybe a good service that you can provide, Start your own business, man.
That's what we're about here, is to show options. Because, like, we could beat them over the head all day about what could happen to them. Because, like, you know, that when you was out doing what you wanted to do, wasn't nobody really going to be able to tell you, hey, you know, you could go to jail. You like, I don't want to hear that. I'm doing what I'm doing.
Yep.
I'm doing what I'm doing. So for me, this is my way of giving them, look, it's a million ways to make this happen, dog. It's a million ways between here and the street that you can actually make a profit, dog, and do everything that your favorite guy that's operating, he's doing all that. You're going to do everything he's doing and sleep good at night. You don't have to worry about nobody kicking in your door. So, you know, without all that being said, I appreciate you giving game to the young fellas. Kind of, can you take us through life after exoneration? Like, so, you know, how are you, you know, navigating now?
That's a good question. So, the thing is now for me, honestly, it's been difficult financially because, let me just take you back a little bit. When I came home, Pennsylvania mirrors one of maybe 15 other states who do not have what they call a compensation bill in place to kind of say to exonerees, hey, the state, we made it, we there was a wrongdoing, you fell victim to it. Hey man, here's some money to get yourself on your feet and to, as you said, navigate your way back through, you know, society and through life.
Coming back to go from packed in to open space, people all around, to people smiling, people. It's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
So
bills have to be paid. You know, a person that's looking for you to pay them, they don't care about all of that. They want to be paid on the 1st or the 15th or whatever it may be. So coming home to absolutely nothing is insult to injury to me, because it makes it that much more harder for individuals like me, exonerees, particularly here in Philadelphia, who need those monies to be able to get on our feet, man. After you done robbed us of our whole life. I've been robbed of my 20s, all of my 30s, some of my teens, and I came home when I believe I was maybe 41 or 40. I'm 42 now. So how do you not have a compassionate compensation bill in place to say, hey, like 35 other states do, hey, listen, man, get on your feet. I'm not looking for no handout. I'm looking for a hand up, man.
But
a starting chance, at least.
I think I know for me, I'm a big history dude, and I do a lot of reading and just kind of indulging in history, and in the history of this country that we're in, people that look like me and people that look like you are always told, pull up your bootstraps, put the work in, you'll get it, all this, that, and the third. But if you look at back when this whole thing started, they were giving white men houses. So they already built the wealth. The wealth was built years ago. They built the wealth. Then we became free, right? So we're technically free. Then prison systems, chain gangs. It's all the same system. So for us, I feel like it's time for us to create. As men, as connecting, as men knowing, all right, there's men coming home, there's men that are going to need some reintroduction. It's time for us to create, because they're not going to hand us nothing, like you said. You're not looking for a handout, you're looking for a hand up. So why not that hand up be a hand that looks like yours? You know what I'm saying? I know you have done some creating yourself. So can we speak on what you've created for yourself to kind of get yourself going?
Yeah, no doubt. So, like I said, you know, I at one time I was involved in the drug game. So I kind of right idea, wrong product. I like to say now.
Facts.
Right.
If you use that, what that is really the hustle is for. If you really use that, man, it's so much. It's so much that you could use it for.
Yeah.
It's the same thing as going to re-up or whatever. However you want to break it down, we're not gonna do that on camera. But you know what I mean? It's the same. It's the same concept. Same concept of business. Same concept of business.
Yeah, right idea, wrong product, man. So what I did was I looked at the fact that, like you said, most people aren't going to give you anything. I won't say they don't care. It's just the reality of it is, and I'm living reality. So what I did was I took some of the little monies that I had. I had some good people believe in me to the extent that they invested a small, amount of monies, and then I started my own clean out service. I saw a need here in Philadelphia, a lot of development going on. And, quite frankly, people, they want things moved and moved out, and they can't do it themselves. So they will pay you to get rid of, and that's what I do. And it's funny because just buying into the concept of what you're talking about, I hired a young person yesterday. I believe she's 17 years old. And she did, when I say phenomenal job with a clean, I thought she couldn't do the work.
Right.
And I mean, she did better than I expected. Young lady got out there. We getting rid of this stuff. And I asked her. I said, "Hey, look. Why did you want to do this type of work? Why you want to do it?" She said, "Listen, I don't want to be a victim to the streets." That's her words. I didn't put those words in her mouth. That's her words. So, what that tells us is, to me anyway, a lot of us are suffering from economic woes, which in turn plays into why a lot of us commit crimes. A robber robs because he wants some type of monetary gain at some point. A person will do X, Y, and Z for the love of money, as they say. We get into the drug game because we believe there's a future in it. But I'm a firm believer, and there are no more monies in the criminal lifestyle than there is in the goods and services flowing through our own communities.
Oh man. That's why when I say create, it's like we have to take our time and understand that we have to stop looking at it like you creating a business. When you enter into the drug game, you are a businessman. You set your hours, you set your prices, you set whatever you want to. You setting all that up, so you're a businessman.
The government only said it's just illegal.
That's the only thing that's different between you going and saying, all right, I'll take it for example. I have a carpet cleaning business, right? I had a carpet cleaner sitting at the house just collecting dust, I didn't know what to do with it. I'm sitting there, I'm like, man, what can I do? So I said, oh shoot, you know what? I'll take this carpet cleaner and I can clean people's carpets in the crib. So the ability to create is huge. And right now, in the age we're in, it's only a couple clicks away, and you pull out your cell phone, you got everything you possibly could want to know is right in your hand.
Palms in your hand.
It's sitting right there. And for our young folks, with e-commerce being a thing, e-commerce is basically making money off the internet. You can make the money from your house. This was major for me. First, I want to thank you for your time and bringing your story to light and allowing me to kind of help bring that story to light and bring some more eyes onto a situation that is very much needs more education. If anything else, nothing else they got from this, we need education on just exoneration in general, because a lot of people just don't even know what it means. I told a couple people I was coming to talk to them, I was exonerated, and they're like, what does that mean? They have no idea. So it's like, since it's such an undertone, it's very hard for people to bring it to the forefront. So I feel like, I appreciate you for allowing us, me and my guys, ET, to come in here and, sit down with you and really get that conversation and that story out, man.
Well, I appreciate you all even more so, because as individuals like you, and we need more people like you to follow in your footsteps and to get these stories out there, because information is truly, actually power. It's power. And I know it sounds corny, it's cliche, but it's power, because you just said something that's really on point. You said, hey, not a lot of people know what exoneration means. Well, let me tell them. Basically, what it means is that an individual, like we were talking about earlier, never done a crime to begin with, only to be arrested, then convicted for the crime, and ultimately cleared of all wrongdoing later, after spending whatever length of time behind bars. You never did any crime to begin with, so you're actually innocent of committing a crime. So that's kind of basically what it means. So we need more individuals like you, man, to get these stories out there and to enlighten the people on what's going on in government to all people, not just people of colors, but color rather, all people in general, man. There's a lot of people I know that's falsely convicted.
Yes. Yes, man. It's a people problem. I feel like a lot of times in our community, we focus a lot on it's always just a black thing. Mm-hmm. It's always, don't get me wrong, like I started this to help young black kids. Mm-hmm. Like, don't get me wrong, like that's been my heart. Mm-hmm. I got a black son, I got a black daughter, they're right behind me. Mm-hmm. They gotta see it. You know what I mean? They gotta see it. So for me, I want to educate everyone though, because I feel like with all the miseducation, that's allowing a lot of the miscommunication between people in general. Like the miscommunication of like, he looked at me wrong, now we going at it. It's like, yo, like that's not the way this has to be. But it's, it's conditions, and I feel like a lot of times your conditions of where you're at become you, and then you lose you, like we said before. You get into those conditions, whether it's the prison system or whether it's your street. Your street can lead you right to the prison. Just by being on the wrong street. You literally were born here, you had nothing to do with that. Boom, you're on the wrong street.
I'm telling you.
And there it is. But I'm excited. Man. This has been major. This has been awesome.
My pleasure, man.
Mr. John Berry, man. Exonerated of the crime, man. My man is free, man. I'm excited. I'm 2020, man. We taking off, man. 2021, we doing something crazy. So please stay tuned, like, subscribe, and please check my man John Berry out.
Marquise Reiner is currently incarcerated, serving a life sentence plus 65 years for a crime he did not commit. Marquise Reiner is currently incarcerated, serving a life sentence plus 65 years for a crime